Hello, 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 everyone. This is Disgruntled Elk back at you after a little bit of time away. I was moving across the country, and then I had an event, and before the event, Surge of Salvation had been spoiled, and it's like, oh, I don't want to, create another video with a list that's going to be out of date, in a matter of days. That being said, I did release content on my Patreon, breaking down this little gem we call Surge of Salvation right here. Cards cracked. We're going to dive into that in a minute, but I wanted to go over a couple things. One, did well, top aided the SCG, which I think was around like 250 people. Week one of having March of the Machine cards, and this is the list. So we have 6 tricks in here: the Surge, the skills, 2 Sanctifiers, 2 Hollowed Moonlights, which we will get to here in a minute, and then 3 Dranith Magistrates, 2 Solitudes, 2 March. Nothing crazy. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. In terms of what we're going to be playing today, it's going to be a little bit different. So we're going to be playing the same list in the main, but instead of the 2 Hollowed Moonlights, which I think it was good against creativity in most iterations, but now that they're pretty much all playing just max to fairies, playing Hollowed Moonlights and a bunch of interaction spells, like, don't get me wrong, skill and surge are fine because they protect your stuff, but I don't think that's where we want to be. I think we want to just try to kill them pretty much as fast as possible. And so I add the 4th Dranith to the sideboard because it's a living end piece, which was the only other deck I was reliably bringing in the living end, or the Hollowed Moonlight. So I also decided, since we had one kind of free spot and I didn't really want a 3rd Sanctifier just because of how the board plan works, I decided to put 1 Orvar in. We'll probably bring it in against creativity. That's like the only matchup, but that was pretty much the only popular matchup. I was bringing in the Hollowed Moonlights anyway, so kind of a wash there. This could be kind of any card you want. Just map out your sideboard where you feel like it's a good plan. But yeah, other than that, list feels super clean, and we're just going to go ahead and jump into a league. All right, we are here for round 1. We foolishly lost the die roll. This hand's a little slow, but I kind of dig it. I don't like that Magic Online has decided to black border my white border planes, but whatever. I think because we have Stoneforge that can get Cauldra after turn 1 Esper Sentinel into start making constructs off Saga, I like it. It's obviously not the fastest hand, and there are matchups that can certainly punish us. But if we play against Murktide, I'm glad they like it. We can just go Sentinel into Sentinel. And that's probably good. Like, if they don't immediately kill the first Sentinel, then we're probably in good shape. So we have a Scalding Tarn and a Fetch. So this could be a lot of different things. This might give us the information. Suspend Footfalls. Yeah, okay. So it is Crashing Footfalls. So I'm less excited about going triple Sentinel because they have Fury. They have Fury. They also have just Fire Ice to ping, which we would still draw 2 cards. And of course, like, the good news here is that the good news, of course, is we are not going to get Blood Mooned effectively. Like, they can Blood Moon us. This obviously isn't the best hand against Rhinos, but it is reasonable. So if we can find an Equipper, I'll be a happy camper. Pop out that. Okay, so we have 3 more turns before Rhinos come down. This is a matchup, of course, where Surge of Salvation is absurd, as is... Okay, so they want to spend their turn 2 shooting the Sentinel and paying the tax. You got it. Because we are on the draw, I think I just want to get this Saga down. They're down to 3 cards. I like getting... It's tough, because we could go Sentinel. And then we're almost definitely drawing a card, but if they have a Fury, it's not great for us. I think I just want to go Saga, Stoneforge, go get Cauldra. Is great. I'm getting Cauldra here because it forces their hand a little bit. Also, this turn, if they want to moon us, so be it. That's fine. We can just untap Plains and Stoneforge in the Cauldra. Because we see basic Island Stomping Ground off of 2 Scalding Tarns, that tells me, ooh, they did not have a 3rd land. That's pretty nice. As much as I would like to make a construct, putting Cauldra into play seems really good. If they want to bounce it, then fine. So we lead here with Sentinel, and then we're going to put the... I'm doing this now because if they want a Brazen Borrower, they have to do so in response to the Sentinel. Otherwise, we are going to draw a card. Yep. There we go. Kraken for 5. And then it is a question of what we want to do. We're almost definitely making a construct next turn, but we shall see. Actually, we don't want F6 because if they do trigger the Sentinel and we draw a card, then potentially if it's like a Solitude, that might be relevant. And they missed on 3rd land again. It's something that just happens with Rhinos sometimes, right? Yeah, I think I like just making a construct and then playing a Sentinel post-combat probably. Yeah. Question is, what are we getting here? And I don't hate getting like a Shadow Spear, because the Shadow Spear, 1, it'll let us race effectively, but 2, we can move it around pretty freely. Of course, we're not playing a Esper Sentinel here if we want to play the Saga, which I do, so I will probably just play the Ginger Brute and crack in for an extra point here. They could tap this in response if they really wanted to, and then we draw a card. Opponent asked if we think mono white is the better option right now. I think, yeah, it is. Like the clean mana, Surge shored up a lot of the weaknesses that Spell Pierce was covering for you. Obviously, Teferi is still a pain in the butt. It is what it is. So I'll just be brief, and I'm just gonna do this. We'll crack in for 5, 6, 7, 8. Pretty good. Heck yeah, good luck. All right, crack in with him. Yep. Yeah, opponent stumbling is a huge benefit here, of course. But yeah, this is a rough spot for them. Once again, as much as I would love to just 6 here and pass all priority, we could draw a Stoneforge or a Solitude, and then it's free. So do they want to pay for this? And then they probably can't do anything else with their turn. That's pretty nice. So now if they tap out, they're dead, because we can just core Outfitter, move the Cauldron to the Ginger Brute, and make it Can't Catch Me mode, Sugar Rush, Ginger Smacks, whatever. All right, but yeah, I think things just didn't pan out. Did they mulligan that game? They did mulligan to 6. Okay, so nothing crazy. All right, so against Rhino, Solitudes are sketchy because I don't like them against most of the deck. Murktide can be a bit of an issue, but I think it's fine. Surge of Salvation is obviously absurd, and as is Blacksmith skill. I don't know if we need all the skills. I've kind of been fooling around with a little bit, but let's take a look. So what else could we do? So yeah, just like 1 skill is an additional protection spell, and like all 4 Drannith Magistrates, pretty good. Yeah, and I think I generally like cutting the Solitudes as well as the Outfitter, because they do tend to have a lot of kind of interaction. It's pretty reasonable one way or another. Ornithopter's pretty poor, and potentially a Drum. Sometimes these games do go long, so I like the Mantle. But do we want to do anything else here? Yeah, maybe we leave the Drum. Trim another Ornithopter. It's probably fine. Having the extra mana to be able to just like going like turn 1 Drum, turn 2 Drannith plus hold up Surge or skill is really good. But yeah, so I like this. This is fine. They are the... I'm honestly tempted, since we're on the draw, to just cut a Ornithopter and bring in the other Outfitter. But I like one Ornithopter as a way to kind of hedge your bet. So you can go get a creature that isn't Ginger Brute with the Saga Pop. This hand is what I would call a trap. Just mulligan. Okay, yeah, this hand much better. This is tough. But I kind of like, so we can either take the line of Giver into Stoneforge. I'm probably just going to bottom this Sentinel. I just want the mana. What we play out will depend on kind of what they do, and then so they did get to keep 7. Okay. Ooh, that's really nice. So I think I'm going to play out the Sentinel because we do want to draw a card. Yeah, I'll just start there. And if they don't, if you hear weird sounds in the background, that's my dog hammer. Yeah, so hopefully we draw a card off of the Sentinel. If we do, that's great for us. If they tap out to address our turn 1 Esper Sentinel, that's fine as well. If I knew I was hitting a second land, I would have gone Giver into Drannith Magistrate. Crashing Footfall's exiled, so they probably drew that this turn. Okay. I don't hate that because that is a land. So I like going Drum because if they do if they want to force a negation, that I'm super happy with that. Yeah. We are going to deal substantial damage to ourselves here, but okay, cool. So yeah, I'm just gonna play this Drannith out. One upside to Drannith, of course, over Lavinia, which I do love Lavinia. I think in this matchup she's generally slightly ahead, because she does counter Force of Vigor as well, and Leyline Binding if they're on that build. But Drannith has 3 toughness, which means it can't get by. I can't remember it's dead or gone. I think it's dead. Gemstone Cavern. Okay, so they are going to Fury, kill both my guys, which is pretty unfortunate. And then they probably also are going to Convoke, but we're not in too bad a shape, or not Convoke, Cascade. And they're doing this first because doing so means they don't have to pay for the Sentinel. So yeah, they had Fury, Convoke spell. They're probably going to casting another one here. Yep. So this is certainly, okay, so we know they have Murktides now. Check. Anything spicy in here? Not really. So yeah, these are the games where they can just get you. Okay, so we can just take, I'm planning on just taking 10 here. Question is, what are we getting with the Stoneforge Mystic? And I think the answer is probably just a hammer. If we go Stoneforge, grab hammer, play hammer, and we draw we don't have any 0 drops, but we do have more 1 mana artifacts, then we will be able to play Paladin, something else, and go from there. Yeah, so do this. Yeah, and let's just get a hammer here. If they have another piece of interaction, so be it. I am content losing to that because, you know, if they have like the Fury plus the Footfalls plus like potentially another interaction spell, you're just going to lose most of the game, and that's fine because most of the time they can't have all of that. Yeah. Okay, so we take 10, go to 4, and if they have interaction pieces, they're pretty toast. Yeah, so that was a consideration to play the Giver first, because if we do spike a land, then we're in pretty insane shape. We'll see what we find. That's a little late. So we need to go Stoneforge. Yeah, that's fine. If we'd hit a land there, we could have at least equipped a hammer, and then we can block the Stoneforge. Like, so we could have, if we hit a land, we can go Stoneforge, go grab Mantle, and then tap that Stoneforge and the land and the Mantle for the drum for the Stoneforge to play Paladin, and then play Mantle, draw a card, equip hammer. Now, they probably had other pieces of interaction, so that's but yeah, other than that, I think I like this. Cut the Ornithopters and the Solitudes. This hand is quite good. So we're going to go turn 1, Plains Aid. Turn 2, we will consider just playing the Amaria's Call here, because if they do have Force of Vigor, that's a gigantic blowout. If we play the Saga and then they aid and then they kill the aid and the Saga. If we draw Surge, of course, I will do that, and then if they force, we just, yeah. So I'm just gonna bolt myself here to play Stoneforge, and I think we will just go ahead and, so we can, I was trying to think if we'll have Metalcraft if they kill the Stone. So we can play out Saga, Drum. We will have a hammer and another hammer. Yeah, I'm just gonna get her here. This also incentivizes them to pop the aid now if they have it, but we shall see. Yeah, like hopefully we just like draw a Surge and the game gets real simple real quick. And here I will just lead with Saga, because if they want to kill the what are they doing? Green, red. Okay, so that was a nice hit. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and play the Sentinel here, and then I'll go ahead and play the Saga. Note, if they have Force of Vigor, they're absolutely Force of Vigoring right now. There's not a better time to do it. The problem is, okay, so now I'm going to play this Drum out. And if this resolves, then we have multiple hammers that can come down at a moment's notice. And I think I want to do that on their turn, because that way they can't Force of Negation me. And of course, if they do go to like kill the Sentinel, then we will flash in the hammer probably. But if they do it right now, so like once again, yeah, if they had Force of Vigor, they should have used it before we got to, use the Saga mana, because you're going to want to kill the Saga. Okay, Force of Vigor targeting those two. So I will draw a card. So they did pitch a Violent Outburst, which is pretty nice. Okay, I don't think there's a reason to hammer here. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, once again, like if we have, so that's an example of if we have Surge, the game is over because like they're just so far behind on resources. But now we get to play a Paladin and we shall see. Okay, so smells like a Cascade turn. And so I'm playing that first, of course, so I have the additional mana. And I think I'm just going to pass a turn because if we go to equip and they have another Force of Vigor, or rather if we, like, I don't want to play the Paladin out because if they Fury us, then it can get real bad. Like, they just Fury kill both of our creatures and we lose the game. Okay. So we could just... I kind of like hammer because if they, like, kill the Paladin... So if they go to kill the Paladin twice, then we still get to play another Paladin and then move both hammers onto it. But also we get to see if this one resolves. Okay, cool. We will go, and I'll see y'all in round 2. Actually, before we jump into round 2, I realized I might have written an entire 1,000 words on Surge and my thoughts on it because it's really, really, really good. But I didn't actually touch base on it on any videos, really. So Surge is really good because the best cards against hammer are typically like Force of Vigor. So any spot removal, of course, is good, but also Force of Vigor, which targets 2 permanents, as well as like Archon triggers are good, all those. So Surge not only protects all of our permanents, not a needle, needle's good, not only protects all of our permanents, but it protects ourselves as well. So if they go to, you know, Archon trigger, because Archons target us, we can Surge in response. It counters that. It is better against things like Teferi as well than Blacksmith Skill, because Teferi, if you want to Blacksmith Skill it, they play Teferi, and then you have to Blacksmith Skill in response, and you have to pick the one thing you want them to bounce the least, and then they just bounce something else, and it's probably still really bad for you. But Surge, you can actually Surge in response, and then Teferi can't take up any of your stuff. They're probably tapped out, and they can bounce their own thing if they want to draw a card. Otherwise, they're just ticking up and potentially dead the next turn. Surge also is really good at proactive kills because you can just Surge, and then if it resolves, all your things are hexproof for the rest of the turn. This includes ink moths that aren't animated, as well as the hammer that's potentially in play. So you can go Surge. If it resolves, you animate ink moth, play your Paladin, and immediately move the hammer over. Paladin, of course, will not have hexproof, but everything else will, and that's the important piece. And then the other piece that I really like is against like Scam, right? So it counters Fury because Fury will target multiple things, and this counters all of that, but also it counters. So Living End, historically Living End is the most problematic matchup in my opinion, because they, even if you're on the play, right, your best cards against them are the Hate Bears. So like Drannith Magistrate, Lavinium. So the problem was you go land go, and then they go grief you, and then they take your guy. But now Surge, because it gives us hexproof, we get to go land pass, and the opponent can choose to grief, and if they do, you Surge a Salvation in response, and then you're free to resolve your Hate Bear the following turn. Yeah, so that's just a quick overview of why the card is. Now we're good. All right, and we are back for round 2. See how it goes. So this hand is bad on the draw. I think it's actually reasonable on the play because we get to get the Sigarda's Aid out under, under a discard spell and probably a counter spell, and then we just make constructs and we get to hold up Surge for at least some relevant. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this, and then of course if we draw a creature, like if we just draw an Ornithopter or a Espersen, God forbid, that this hand gets real good. I like it a lot. And that's the other reason we're going to run out the aid here. If they do have, if it's like, so if I saw Kahira here, I probably wouldn't run it out because that tells me it's likely either a control deck with a lot of prismatic endings, or it's potentially like just an elementals deck with also prismatic endings. It's pretty good. Let's keep it real simple. I want to figure out how to whiteboard it. I am so tilted. Like, I love my 7th edition white. Okay. Oh man. That's really good. The problem is I don't want to expose the Paladin, but if we just go Saga pass, then there won't really be a turn where we can both make a construct. I'm just going to go on the construct plan, and the Paladin will be my backup, or my follow-up rather. It is also nice that this lets us, so like if they go for a prismatic ending on the aid, when they untap, we can surge in. So we do know that they are not creativity also, because creativity plays all red fetches. So that is something to be aware. Okay, so right now my pick would be Murktide. Murktide it is. Okay. So this turn I'm gonna let them bobble, but I'm gonna just go ahead and slam Paladin, put the hammer on the Paladin, because one, they usually don't have many outs to an equipped creature, except for like Archmage Charm and usually one Brazen Borrower. But oh shoot, so that would have actually been pretty sweet. So if they bobble you and you surge it, you do count. But I think the surge has has more value in it. Also, I'm holding these Mary's Calls because we might to bolt ourselves. Hopefully we hit a different white source here. You may draw your card. That's not. It's even less good when they know about it. All right, so Shattered Skyclave, and we'll bolt ourselves. And I'm just doing this now, of course, because they don't play Force of Negation, and it just gets into a really awkward spot where if they go like second red source and they have multiple removal spells up, and it's like, nah, just do they have a Force of Negation? Okay, so we're gonna draw a card. Okay. Yeah, and so next turn I am likely going to just go get a Shadow Spear, and then they will likely lose the game. Yeah, there you go. So a lot of the Murktide matchup is about picking your spot, and knowing that they can't Archmage Charm the Paladin. They're really just left game one with basically just Brazen Borrower as ways to address a 2-drop that has a hammer on it. So yeah. So this is a matchup that's been really interesting because Solitude, oftentimes you're not even going to pitch cast. Like I'll pitch cast it against a monkey because so often they win based on the extra mana advantage the monkey gets. But two, this is actually one of the reasons that I put the second skill in the board instead of just the first, because this is actually a matchup where I don't want the max surges. Surge is fine in the matchup, but their big card, of course, is Engineered Explosives. And so we're going to bring in these 5 for sure. Sanctifier, I think, is pretty overrated against Murktide. Ledger Shredder can brick it. Like once you're equipping a hammer to something, you're probably winning the game anyway. And so Sanctifier, it's fine. I might bring in 1. Yeah, that's kind of where I stand on the Fire Debate Tide matchup. So we will board out all the Thopters because they suck. And 1 drum. And then do we want to bring out anything else? We can trim the Outfitter because it is a little sketchy. Sanctifier is better than the Outfitter. Outfitter usually in any matchup where they have tons of like 1 mana or cheap removal, I'm not a huge fan because they will just kill it. I like a game 1 more because it does make you a little bit more consistent. A Equipper. So I actually want to call one thing out here. So we're going to sort by color. So one problem people have with the deck is like, oh, or at least they did, was, how we won't have a lot of white cards. So especially post board where you're cutting like your Ornithopters and your drum, and these are the games where you're bringing in the extra Solitudes, we have more white cards than we do non-white cards, and that includes land. And so like, I don't know, oftentimes these games you will find you have like a skill or a sentinel that's drawn late, or you just get to start hard casting Solitude. If you get to start hard casting Solitude, Murktide, you're either very dead, but more often you're just going to win the game because you're just like, all right, exile your guy, you can gain some life, but then they have to kill the Solitude that's left behind as well, because then you start racing them. Solitude's a really fun one to put a hand. 13-12 life linker. It's just good on it. All right, so opponent, shockingly, on the play. This hand has a turn 1 Esper Sentinel. Yeah, this hand is quite good. Hopefully we draw land, of course, but we're on the draw. We have a Sentinel. We also have a drum, so any other 1-drops will somewhat constitute mana sources. Also, generally, you're okay not mulliganing quite as much post board when you have 4 Solitudes in your deck, because, well, those are gonna 2 for 1. So yeah, I don't know. So they probably don't have a... Yeah, if they had to consider, they would have cast it prior to the Esper Sentinel. This turn, they probably just take off to... Oh, okay. So, land, please. That's unfortunate, but it's okay. We can protect the Esper Sentinel now, which is pretty nice. So if they do go to kill the Sentinel, we will just protect it with the skill. I will let them pay the tax because if they... Yes, that... Yeah, so if they have removal spell, pay tax into Pierce. Ooh, Seasoned Pyro, okay. Fury? No, I will take 1 in the air. Okay, land off the top one. That'll do, pig. So I'm just gonna go ahead and play a paladin, play a hammer. They can loot, that's fine. We'll just go ahead, draw a card. And the question is, what are we putting the hammer on? The answer is probably the Sentinel. So many of these decks are off of the, like, also we have the X, which helps things quite a bit. Yeah, so I'm just gonna do this. They can loot, that's fine. And then I'm just gonna I'm gonna equip the hammer to the Sentinel, because one, that means if they cast any non-creature spell, we draw a card for sure. But two, we could lose Metalcraft if they do just if we don't put it on the Sentinel, right? So so obviously EE is the biggest consideration here, but I think this is a hand that's just gonna lose to EE. I think considering they are applying pressure, if we just do nothing and play scared the entire game, I think we're just going to lose. I think if we had another land in hand, I would probably just pass, but maybe this Colossus Hammer will just draw a Paradise Mantle, and then we'll just put both of these on the Esper Sentinel. If we do draw a Paradise Mantle, exactly, then I will go ahead and then they EE pop. I will go ahead and just protect, because then we would be left with hammer. Yeah, probably left with hammer, and then we would need to hit an artifact, but I'm gonna draw me a card. Mantle. Yes, I will draw a card. All right, that's a nice. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this because this way, at least if they EE, we do get to. We at least get a card off of it, because if they play land, EE for one, they can pay the one and then pop the E anyway. But a lot of people are really greedy with their, I guess, with their EEs, and they will just like go EE on one pass turn. Okay, so this screams EE to me. Oh, it's just a lightning bolt. Okay, that's good news. Also pretty nice. Archmage Charm? Archmage Charm would be pretty annoying. Yeah, wow, okay. So we still have two artifacts in play, the hammer and the drum. So we will get to actually go Paladin Sentinel and then move the hammer off of the Esper Sentinel. I will take that. That's real nice. And we'll do that after we move the hammer. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. But that does let us actually hold up skill. Ooh, this is actually really interesting. So I think because we are not going to pay the tax anyway, I think I'm just going to cast the Paradise Mantle first. Because if we spike a land, then we might proceed. Yeah, because we aren't going to pay the 1 for the Sentinel. Like 1 and 11 are the same amount, because if we had tapped the Sentinel and then we move the hammer, we don't have 1 mana to pay. So I will decline to pay 11 generic. We will draw a card of our own, which is nice. That's real good. So I will just go ahead, move this here. And then there's no harm. I think I will just hold up the skill here. Yeah, drawing a land there would have been really good, obviously. Yeah, I think holding up the skill for the hammer on so if like they EE for 1, holding up the skill on hammer is just so important. Note that they will get to draw a card off of the Esper Sentinel, which is pretty annoying, but knowing they have Archmage Charms means we can approach the matchup slightly. I will take 4. Are they going to EE for 2? I hope so. It looks like it. Yeah, EE for 2. I love to see this. And so if they tap out here, they just lose the game. And so this is why we want 2 blacksmith skills specifically against Murktide, because one of their biggest tools against us is see, this is why yeah, buddy. And now the game's over. Yeah. Yeah, you can draw a card, I don't care. And so now there is a consideration, but so I'm just gonna, I guess that's the same, right? Yeah, so if we had Cookie in hand, it would be a little different. But I think I'm just going to play the Sentinel here, because the Sentinel does add a mana off of the drum. And we've already triggered that Sentinel, so I'm not worried about that. But we do need to gain some life here. Yeah, I'm just gonna do this. If they have another EE, I'm okay with that, because if they EE for 2 to kill the Paladin, we're gonna probably draw a card off of the Sentinel, unless they want to tap out again. And if they they don't kill the paladin, then we just like have skill up the following turn. So one thing I do want to note, I was definitely supposed to move the mantle and probably the shadow spear to the Esper Sentinel here. Just like one, Sentinel's the one that I'm going to want to tap for mana anyway, but two, okay, so they Fury, pitch, Magus of the Moon. Yeah, Magus of the Moon, not great when I have double plains Springleaf Drum. But it also means that, so they're gonna probably try to find a bounce spell for the Colossus Hammer. Yeah, generally I don't advise. Okay, are they gonna double heat? They're gonna be so sad when we play the second Paladin. Yeah, you got it. Hopefully we draw like exactly. We just draw exactly. Cookie. So this is the other reason I wanted to get the Shadow Spear there. One, because it punches through the damage, but two, gaining 13 life is a really relevant thing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just Paladin here. Don't spell snare me, bro. Yep, equip the hammer first because it is the most mana, and I'm gonna say absolutely not. Yeah, you can draw another card. It's fine. Yeah, unfortunately, we just have not drawn any lands in like the top quarter of our deck. I guess we drew one, but I would have liked to draw a second at some point. But yeah, so this game is pretty over. They have to find an EE for 1 here and pop it, so they don't even have that much mana to play around with, because EE for 1 and pop costs 3, so they need to find like they need to consider into it. I guess they could consider into land to consider into it, but they also all of their shock lands are turned off right now. I'm curious. Yeah, so it looks like an EE here. Let's see if they learned their lesson. Yep. Okay. Okay. So the game's over. Or I guess not technically. So I'm gonna go Stoneforge, grab Hammer, and I think we just put the hammer on the Sentinel on the, I guess we can start here. So the consideration is to Sigarda's aid first, but, yeah, I mean, getting the hammer into play or equipped is pretty big. I'm going to put it on the Sentinel here. I mean, this game is so beyond over. Yeah, and so much of the match, like it's such a close and even matchup. I love it, quite frankly, but it can be really challenging. There's a lot of different decisions and a lot of considerations you want to make when picking. And either player, so pre-board, I think it's pretty favored for Hammer. Post-board, it gets really interesting because they have a lot more tools with like EEs and yeah. It used to be easier for Hammer, but then Yorion got banned, and then Murktide got to start playing more cards that were anti-hammer. I still think the game one is pretty easy, and then post-board it gets really interesting. But yeah, so we saw why we keep a couple of Blacksmith skill in the sideboard, and I will see y'all in round. All right, we are back for round 3. This hand, I'm going to keep it because I'm a greed monster, because we can go turn 1, or we're on the draw, so we do have an extra draw at a land too. So if we go like turn 1 Thopter Paradise Mantle, actually hold up, we need to hit a land on turn 2. Nah, I'm gonna throw it back. I honestly like this hand better because we have the Esper Sentinel. I'm gonna bottom in a Maria's Call here. We already have the extra one in case we do draw Solitude and need it, so I'd like just going Sentinel, turn 2 Saga, potentially play Hammer, but we might just get scammed here. Yep, that's fine. Saga is a good card against scam. They're probably just going to take the Sentinel here. I am also happy that we bend the Amaria's Call instead of the second plane, since this way we aren't getting Blood Moon. Yeah, you have successfully... okay, well, I was going to play out the Hammer, but now I'm going to hold up Surge. Because if they do go for like a Grief, we can Surge to keep them from doing it. Not that I even probably really want that. Whether I play the Hammer out or not is completely contingent upon what we draw here. Like if I draw 8 exactly here... No, we're not. Okay, well, that might be worst possible, but we will see. And I think I will play out the hand because it will make the constructs bigger, which could be relevant if they have like Unholy Heat, but they don't have the time to get to Delirium. And if they Thoughtseize, we're surging regardless because like they'll just take the Surge and then do whatever they want. But if they don't Surge, or if they don't Thoughtseize Blood Moon, gross. All right. The good news is they aren't doing anything. Action, please. Like Stoneforge would be awesome. I'll take a Giver. Giver's a good card. So they almost definitely just have removal spells here. And I probably will just fire off this Surge on whatever I can protect. Yeah, so very, very much against Scam. We're not against Jund, because Jund ain't playing main deck Blood Moon in their Wrenn and 6 deck. But yeah, so it's almost definitely Scam. Yeah, we'll see how we sideboard, and obviously this game can go on for quite a bit longer, because only one with anything going on. So Fury, I will let them target. Oh, wait, they are letting the Evoke trigger resolve first. Sure, yeah, I'll search. Obviously, you always want to stack it the other way, where your Evoke trigger resolves second, but okay, I was hoping they would grief, because if they grief, they don't get anything. So they exile the Pyro to the Fury. They will effectively net one card off of the Seasoned Pyro. So they discarded Blood Crypt. Stoneforge would be best possible. That is not Stone. I will just go ahead and play this out, and then I believe they know about the Cauldron, so I will just go ahead and pass the turn. Luckily, they don't have much of a clock going. Like, I can just take 2 a couple times. They also can't grief me currently, because they only have single black, and they can't Dothy either, which would be not a great threat. Like, I would not like to see it on my end, just because actual clock. But yeah, Stoneforge would be best possible draw here. If they have another Fury, that puts us in pretty bad shape, but they do not. See it. Stoneforge, let's go. Oh, sure. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll get the 8 out. Now any creature we draw is a real threat, but we can kind of pick our spot. If they do Thoughtseize us, then I'll flash the hammer in, because I don't want to get Thoughtseized. Thought I wasn't recording. Almost was very sad. Take 2. We've got some time. Any creature. Is that worst possible draw on the deck? Yeah, it is. So hopefully we draw. Yeah, once again, literally any creature in the deck, I'm happy. Another Pyromancer probably. Fury, that is spooky, but at least I don't get anything killed. So now they do have a 2-turn clock with this Fury. Yeah, so they're killing the Pyro so that they can make, or I guess they're just gonna choose not to do it, right? Okay, sure. They definitely should have attacked first. So they just gave up a couple points of damage. Not that it matters, because they're hitting us for 9, then 9. Any creature in the deck. Once again, any creature in the deck, we're in great shape. If it's specifically Gingerbrute, we could just win. So now we won't straight win. Okay. Rummage, you got it. Yeah, take 9, go to 7. So it is nice that if we do draw a creature and they don't have her, we can just block the Fury and not, but we'll see what we get here. Note that if they had attacked with the Pyro, we would be dead. Thankfully, they did not do that, and we can move on with our day. Okay, that was pretty unfortunate. Yeah, but that sometimes happens. So Solitude's great, as is Sanctifier. I waffle back and forth on if we want all 3 or all 4 Solitudes in this matchup, but I like at least 3, because tagging a monkey or exiling like a Fury or something, really good. Even though they're an EE deck, Surge is so good against their entire deck that I value Surge over skill in this matchup. So we are definitely bringing in, let's sort by. So the cards that are bad: Ornithopter is bad, and anytime I trim that many zeros, generally I like to trim a Drum, and then Core Outfitter, not great. Bring in these 6, and then we could trim one other card for Solitude, but I think I like 3. 3 is kind of a nice match. Yeah, 1 1 1 1 2. Yeah, let's go. It's pretty good to me. Yeah, it's definitely a game. I'd have to go back and look. I think we saw like the top quarter of our deck. We didn't draw many cards. I guess the issue was that they Thoughtseized the Esper Sentinel. We drew 1 creature after the Esper Sentinel 20 creature deck. That is all right. Yes, I will play first. This hand is so greedy. There's no. Okay, this hand is fine. I am tempted to just go Plains Pass. I think that's what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna bottom the Ink Moth here. Yeah, so I'm gonna go Plains Pass. If they grief scam me, we just Surge, and then if they Thoughtseize me, we still just Surge, and then play probably Esper Sentinel Hammer the following turn. My body is ready. Absolutely not. doing that for a couple reasons. One, I don't want them to know what's in my hand. But two, if they know Surge is there, and they can choose to play around it. If they just basic planes, that's we could bolt ourselves. I don't like the idea of getting our land thought seized. And 3, it's not that important. I guess if they want to take, so we're gonna do that, because then if they grief scam us, then we only lose 1 card. We'll take 3 to do that. And this should tell them the information that, hey, there's a pure steel paladin in his hand. I will actually, because if they just cast a normal spell and I draw a card, then it could be a Solitude. Lightning, pay the tax, I'm guessing. Okay. Just gonna play out the Sentinel here. And I don't want to run this pure steel paladin right into a Fury. So we're gonna slow down just a little bit. Yeah. So at least we get to start chipping in for a little point here, point there. Hopefully we're drawing like a Saga or a Stoneforge or something along those lines. Sentinel. So I'll take like any equipment off the top as well, which I guess Stoneforge. Okay, we're just letting that happen. We're gonna draw. So they valued their life total that heavily. Wow, that's a lot. I think I will just play this palette. So the question is, do we want to play the 8 out as well? They've used 2 removal spells. If we draw Stoneforge and we have the 8 already out, we can Stoneforge plus equip Hammer immediately. But it does make their EE worse, and their Hidetsugu consumes. So I think I'm just going to play out the 1 palette. I think if they had Thoughtseizes, they would be casting them. Like Thoughtseize effects, so grief, Thoughtseize, whatever. They would already be casting them unless they are griefing right now, which looks like what's happening. All right, so any hammer off the top is really good. You probably take the 8 here to them. Obviously Sanctifier is good, but not absurd. Maybe they don't have a spell. Are they just gonna Fury here? Be pretty gross. Yep, okay. Fury, pitching, Fury, all right. So once again, like Stoneforge off the top real good. Man. So the question is, what are we getting here? Because if they have Hidetsugu consumes all, that's the last card in their hand. That's really bad for us. If we get Hammer, they have 1 card. I don't want to get a Cauldra because of how, like, both a discard spell and a removal spell clear it out. But at the same time, I mean, I'm just gonna get the Cauldra. If they have a removal spell, so be it. But I'm actually gonna put the 8 into play right now, since they already know about it anyway. I guess potential reason not to do it is if they have like Liliana, but if they have Liliana, then we just lose the Stoneforge anyway. EE for 2, okay. Pretty annoying. Man, can we draw a Saga? That's smart that they're just popping it now. I see a lot of people wait for no reason. Okay, so now another Stoneforge, a Saga, not a great draw. We are getting to the point of hardcasting Solitude. So at least there's that. And the clock they have isn't, so hopefully that continues. So they've had Fury, Bolt, Thoughtseize, Terminate, EE, and Grief. 2 Furies. Bloodtithe Harvester, not. Yep, take 3. I'm more scared that it has 3 power. Okay, I think we need to wait. Let's see, so if they maybe like need them to, I don't think I have much choice here, because I want them to kill the Paladin, right? Like, I want them to kill the Paladin with the Bloodtithe Harvester, because then it's a 4-turn clock instead of 3, and that gives me time to potentially draw land Solitude. But if they also just have, okay. all right. The beats. We did draw a lot of Paladins, but sometimes the things just line up. If we had a Saga this game, I don't think they have a shot to win. They have the EE, but we're likely just getting an we're getting a needle for EE. But, them's the beats. I guess Sanctifier would be a good draw. Yeah, so maybe I was supposed to just go get the Hammer. But then they just had the EE that okay, well, feel pretty here. Unless it's like we get a Stoneforge, because then we can at least Stoneforge for, dang, okay. GG's. We shall see how round 4 goes. I'll see y'all there. All right, our opponent has been found for round 4. On the play, I'm keeping this every time. I think on the draw, I'm going to keep it all and kind of pray. I'm about it. I'm about the prayage. We also have like a lot of really good draws. Okay. Oh, that one's really good. So yeah, I'm just going to go, I think, Silent Clearing Drum, see what happens. And then we can, Yeah, I don't want to run out the Saga because I want to play multiple spells this turn. Are you going to Pierce it? Okay, deal. Am I getting... No, still don't want to pay. Yeah, all right. Honestly, okay, so maybe they'll turn to Shredder, and then we just turn to put a hammer on it. If they don't tap out, I'm not putting the hammer Thopter, but I will play the aid. All right, do we have a counter spell here? If you do, you do, and that's fine. It looks like they do. I will say, so they probably have Blood Moon too. Okay, so 2 spell pierces. We know it's not creativity. I will accept that if they Blood Moon me, I'm in deep shit. But I will hold the Colossus Hammer because if we draw because they could tap out for Blood Moon, and if they do, we can just go Plains, Aid, Hammer. Okay, so they're looking for a Banning an Iteration. 6 tricks here. Huge fan of that. Okay. So any equipper, and we win the probably. So yeah, so we make a 2/2, then a second 3/3 that will turn into a 4/4. We don't want to trigger the Shredder if possible, and from the looks of our hand, I don't think we're going to be triggering Shredder unless we're winning the not super. They could Murktide here. It's 6. Honestly, that's fine. They could also have a Dress Down here. Well, and I will just make a Construct here. I don't think there's a compelling reason not to. Okay. Much prefer that to... Okay, here's the question. I don't hate just getting a Shadow Spear, honestly. We can go like Shadow Spear plus play Horizon Canopy past turn. Yeah, Drum is another consideration, but the other Drum go. Yeah, let's get a Shadow Spear here. And we haven't actually played a land this turn. We haven't played a spell this turn. I don't hate just playing a hammer here. That would turn the construct into a 4/4, which means they would need to heat it. They couldn't bolt it. But we could have also grabbed a drum because pitching our lands is relevant. Sure. Yeah, if they want to counterspell, I'm pretty okay with that. Countering a naked hammer, not something I'm super worried about. They counterspelled, banning another iteration. What? And they only have 1 card in hand, so I don't know. I don't hate our spot. It looks like okay. They just okay. This explains why they're banning the other iteration. Okay, so play the land for turn. You got it. And I mean we're not attacking or we're not blocking. So I honestly don't hate popping this because if we find like an Urza Saga, it puts us in a really good spot. I think we just go aid, see if it okay. And I will just bolt myself here. It is risky, but I like that they so I'm not gonna do it right now, but if they do go to like bolt the Ornithopter, we have the hammer. I think that's worth the 3 life. And then if we untap, of course, we get to double. Okay, so we can go Amaria's Call, equip Shadow Spear. Well, we equip Shadow Spear first, right? If we equip Shadow Spear first and they shoot it, problem. If we bolt ourselves, like we need to equip the Shadows regardless. This plays against 2 removal spells. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, I mean we have to equip the Shadow Spear. So all right, we got a Brazen Borrower. So all right, do the thing. We're dead anyway. Okay, that was the reason. That was really bad. Okay, do it. Woo. Okay. Yeah, so we should not have hammered a second time because that gives them another draw. That was really bad, but you know, live and learn. That's fine. It's fine. I was careful around. I think playing the into the Shredder the entire match, except for the turn it like really mattered. All right, so all these except Surge, but these 6, and we are gonna cut the. And Trey, yeah, that's what we're going to do. And we are cutting all the Ornithopters, the core outfitter, and see if we can beat Murktide twice in the same league. If this is a white land, I'm think I'm keeping it. But since it's not, I can't cast spells. This hand also pretty bad because we can't cast spells. I'm going to keep this hand and accept that I will lose to a Blood Moon. So we will bottom the Amaria's Call, and I believe a Surge, and just play aid on 1. Yep. Yeah, like we are going to lose to a Blood Moon either way. So I like just playing to maximize my ceiling by just going on the Saga train. Because like we can beat a Dress Down too, especially if they aren't like playing Monkey on turn 1. Okay. And if they want to counter this, okay, sweet. So they probably have an EE, but we shall see what happens here. The plan with Saga will definitely be to get Needle and name EE, even if, you know, that can fluctuate. But okay, so something. That's a fun one. Okay. That's a really nice pickup. So we might not make the second construct now. We're definitely making the first one. First one's easy. Monkey hit, pretty annoying. Not the end of the world. Esper Sentinel, super annoying. Like, please don't cast that. It's funny because I almost, like, I probably wouldn't have cast the Sentinel anyway, but they are. Like, they would. They should, absolutely. I probably would not because I value these constructs so highly. Okay, well, if I could stop drawing, like, be drawing 2 lands, I don't want to draw more lands. The hand was, like, 4 lands to begin with. 2, right? That counts as a land. Don't like taking hits from Monkey repeatedly, but I don't think we have much of a choice. Oh, come on. That's just insulting. In response to chapter 2 activation. So, like, definitely just cast. Okay, now kill my guy? No? Wow. I think I'm just gonna go for the kill because this, yeah, I'm gonna go for the kill. Because we have the Surge now too. Yes, I'm just gonna go get Hammer, and then I'll have another Hammer I can cast, and I have Surge up as protection as well. Could also just get a Needle here. Nah, let's just go. Let's just go for it. All right, let's cast our Hammer. Nope, you can have a card. At this point, I'm just like, you have so many cards. Okay, well, so that would have been a spot where Blacksmith skill's better, but that's okay. Still not in too bad a shape because the second skill going. Yeah, Dress Down was the card that gets us there because another removal spell doesn't hit. I was probably supposed to Surge in response instead, and then if they let the Surge resolve and cast Dress Down, then we have the second Hammer. Yeah, okay. So I definitely should have sequenced that better. Okay, take another 3 here. I mean, we're just getting buried. Can't quite cast it. That would suck. That would suck so bad. It's triple white, so you can't quite. So Murktide here. Almost definitely, yeah. That's a tiny Murktide. I guess I didn't really have many instants and sorceries. What was them? Okay, okay. So I think I'm just going to make a construct and block the Ragavan here, because it will be a 3/3. Yeah. Yeah, I'll make a construct, block the Ragavan, and then we'll see what else they do. Because then if we get a Shadow Spirit, actually puts us in a good spot. Like, we don't even need to Hammer because the construct would be a 4. So we're going to probably just going to make 2 constructs. 1, 2 constructs. 3, 4, 5. It'd be a 5/5. 6. Gain 6 is pretty good. Counters their Murktide hit. So 4, 5, 6, 7. That puts us to 5. Yeah, I think I just need to Surge. It is really unfortunate that they took that Sentinel. Yeah, that one. We also mulled a 5, right? I feel like if you have an answer, it's pretty. Do they have a Dress Down here? At least the Dress Down would keep us from getting Monkey. And it does prevent all damage as well, which is pretty nice. But, I mean, they could get savagely blown out by the second Dress Down. EE for 1. Okay. Ooh, okay. So I think I just pass priority here. Yeah, we just pass priority. If they pop the EE, then that's not great for me. But if they don't, can survive another. I think I'm just gonna pass priority here. 'Cause if they do pop the EE, we potentially. Oh, okay, they did not. Yeah, I mean, pretty cleanly. And engineered explosives here. Yep. Question is it worth playing the Ginger Brute out? I don't think it is. Yeah, we just got buried by the Ragavan and the Esper Sentinel. Like, the Esper Sentinel drew them 3 or 4 cards, I think. I feel like I did what I could. That, I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this sideboard strategy. We do get to be on the play, and maybe we will keep more than 5. I would be excited by both of those. Reality. We are back for game 3. I will be on the play. This is an interesting hand, and I think it's a trap. We have Esper Sentinel on the play, which is really good, but, like, the hand doesn't do anything. Okay, yeah, this hand's way better. And I might sadly bottom the Solitude here. It's either Solitude or Needle. Yeah, bottom Needle. If the game goes long, then we can potentially potentially just start casting the Solitude. And Giver is just like a pretty good card here. I would lose my mind if we... That was a really nice hit. I don't hate, because we definitely want the white source for the Paladin. So there's a real... I'm considering right now if I want to just Ameria's Call, play Paladin out, or if we play Inkmoth Hammer, and then potentially Solitude, pitch Ameria's Call. If we're going to do that, I think we do that now, though, because I don't want them to like untap and have Counterspell up. So, or Dress Down, I guess. That'd be really gross, too. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to do that here. Even though we don't have any like blink effects in our deck. I like doing this. Yep. And pass. If they dash a monkey, I will just animate the Inkmoth, block, and protect. They're probably not doing, because they know we can do that, but who knows? Okay. Do they know? Okay. That's a good card. Now, some people keep in Counterspell against Hammer. Some people don't. I'm going to hold the Hammer in hand because, well... If they have like exactly E out, so probably correct to hold the Hammer. We would draw a card, because the idea of playing Hammer is if we draw a white source, then we can go Paladin, animate Inkmoth for the third artifact, and then equip to the Sentinel immediately. But I think I like just passing the turn here. Yeah, we want white source or... Okay. Bolting the Giver, paying the tax also checks out. I'm not going to bother protecting. So take it back. They probably don't. I take it. But now that we don't have the Giver, I don't want to run this. I don't want to, I'll just start by attacking. I like playing Plains Hammer here, I think. It also is like Plains. If we play Plains Hammer, there's no world in which they tap out, right? I mean, they could. I'm going to do it. Of course, we're wanting to draw like Urza's Saga, Blacksmith Skill. I don't hate either. Stoneforge Mystic. We have a lot of good draws. Urza's Saga is far and away the best one. Yeah, I think getting the monkey off the table. Okay. Pitching Blood Moon. Imagine that. Man, I've never wanted to draw Urza's Saga. Expressive Okay, I guess I wanted to see if it would resolve first. Bauble, sure. All right, monkey. All right. Hammer off the top. Gross. All right. Well, question is, do we want to block? Probably not, right? Yeah, just take Plains. Good. Get that shit out of here. I don't remember. Did we move 6 or 6? Yeah. Stop. Don't expressive iteration me, bro. Misty Rainforest. There are land drops. Yeah, these are the spots that are usually hard to come back from. If we can find... I mean, I'll run one out and fine. Also, if we do just draw a land into a Solitude, that puts us in reasonable shape as well. Okay, so they kept Counterspell in against us, which I guess if they know we're on Solitude is more reasonable, but like I'm just trying to figure out what they cut. Like what are you cutting if you're bringing in Furies, Blood Moons, assuming they're not in the main. Furies, Blood Moons, yeah, it's fine. Furies, Blood Moons, at least 2 copies of Dress Downs, EE. I guess I'm just confused. Like, man, I would have liked that one. They're not cast. That makes okay. Yeah, Giver here. So they really saying they have another Counterspell? If they are, that's really gross. I think we have to take one more hit. So we take 9 here. The monkey, the second monkey. Yeah, the first one didn't bury us. The second one. And I think I'm supposed to take this hit because we need to hope they don't have a removal spell so we can untap. And then we have the Surge. That one fine, honestly. Okay, I have no idea what kind of build our opponent is playing. I think we're dead though, unfortunately. Oh, okay. So if they have nothing, we're gonna die to the Murktide. That kind of sucks. All right, GG, because they can just protect the Murktide. All right, let's see if we can finish this up strong on a 3-2. All right, and we are live for our 5th and final match. I feel like that's a Twitch. I don't know. I'm not. All right. Man, some of these hands have not been kind. All right, yeah, this hand's fine. And I think I bottom here. Yeah. Oh, and we're on the draw too. Yeah. Okay, Shadow. At least we have the Urza's Saga. This is probably Grixis Death Shadow. There are not a lot of decks that go Watery Grave, Thoughtseize. I'll take that. I'll give you a nice juicy target for your removal spell of choice. Grixis Death Shadow is a matchup that I'm pretty happy to have. Okay, well I'm just gonna... They can't drown and lock us because we don't have to fetch with the if they're gonna drown. Okay, sure. All right, well, let's get in there. Woo! All right, so I don't know what it is. Grixis Death Shadow is a really tough matchup experience though, just because they play all the cards that we don't enjoy dealing with, i.e. Dress Down, EE, except they play Dress Down and Rose. So I will not attack this time because I want to be able to protect the constructs. And it is a question of what are we getting with the Saga. We are probably just getting a hammer because we do have the Paladin to equip. Yeah, so we make a construct and a turn. Maybe it's just blue-black shadow. Make a construct and a turn, make a construct on our upkeep, and then we probably bolt ourselves to play a Sentinel. All right, yeah. Yeah, I think this might just be blue-black shadow. It's a deck that I think Aspiring Spike like popularized, and then he's like, this deck's so I find it pretty funny that people are playing it. Anyway, okay, no Dress Down. I like that. Yeah, I'm just gonna get a hammer here. Yeah, I mean, no reason not to do this. Kraken for 4 points. Drown in the lock. Yep. Would you like to pay the 1? We would. All right, checks out as well. Okay, so we've made it through Counterspell, Fatal Push, Thoughtseize, Drown in the lock. Thanks, Urza Saga, for carrying us. And I would ordinarily F6, but if they do trigger the Sentinel and we draw a... Yep, okay. Blue-black shadow. Got it. Well, if they have Drown in the lock, so be it. And I'm just going to go ahead and play out this aid now. And I'm not going to attack because they can grow the shadow on command with that fetch land. The good news is they don't have any cards left in hand. And so if I find a hammer or a Solitude, Core Outfitter, Stone Fortress, so most things in my deck that are not called basic planes. Note that I'm not going to try to play around Dress Down because I don't believe I can. Okay. And yeah, punch in for 5 damage. Yeah, because Dress Down, of course, removes this ability, so it just is a 1 mana 13/13. But we can definitely just take a hit. 9. Take 9. Because we know they're not playing red, we know that they can't just like bolt us out of nowhere either. Is there another shadow? Street, sure. It's not great. Okay, so we can crack in for 4 and they have to block. All right, yeah. Yeah, they gotta block or they'll die. And I will play this tapped. Now if we draw a Solitude, for those not in the know on how Solitude interacts with Death Shadow, if you ever have a second Death Shadow in play, it'll exile 1 and bring your life total 13 immediately. I don't hate just like chipping in with the Ornithopter. Chip in with the Ornithopter for 1. I just don't think that life point is super relevant. So I'm just going to play this tapped, pass the turn. This is kind of awesome. So they didn't have a removal spell. If they do cast a removal spell and trigger the Sentinel, I might flash in the Shadow Spear onto the Sentinel to up the tax. Okay. Yeah, no reason. All right, so 6 mana. So if we draw an Amaria's Call, we can almost cast it. Same with Cauldra. Of course, we can cast Solitude. Unfortunately, we do have 5 cards in the yard. Ooh, spooky. Okay, well, I think I will block with the Ornithopter here. Yeah. And I will just put the Shadow Spear on it. Give me an extra life point. Yeah, I'll take this. We got a 9. My straight up my kingdom for Solitude here. Okay, well, didn't come here to not do this. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Oh, shit. Yeah, that one. Okay, so their life total becomes 13 again. And then, yeah, and so because it becomes 13, they both... All right, crack in for 5. Solitude, let's go. Oh my gosh, you love to see it. All right, well, called shot. MTGO whitelisted after kind of a rough 2-2. I feel like in the games there's probably things I could have done in the Murktide matchup to optimize my chances. I don't know what those were, but then definitely there were things like, well, no, there was nothing I could have done in the Scam matchup, I don't think. And I'm just gonna put this on the Sentinel, and I will play out the Ornithopter. Yeah. we'll just crack casual 7, 8, 9, 10. And 2 of my creatures have lifelink, which is pretty nice. The blue-black Merc probably pay 2 here. Yep. This is why I didn't put the Shadow Spear in the Construct, of course, because they're most likely to push the Construct. Yeah, so we gain 5 here, 14. And I'll just leave the the old 2-for-1 on Death Shadow. Well, I'm glad that was on the video I'm recording. It's a nice little on Solitude, which was actually funny enough why people thought Grixis Death Shadow wasn't reasonable for such a long time, even when Lurrus was around, because it's like, oh, you just get bodied by Solitude. It's like, but you can play around it. I don't think my opponent could have played around it there, because they just need to create more pressure and kind of try to end the game. And I think I will move this over here. We just want to chip in for as many little chip shots as we can. Yeah, this way our damage is divided up pretty nicely. Also, when they have 6 mana up, the Esper Sentinel tax isn't super relevant unless it's more than 5 or 6. Deal. Okay. All right, so I will chip in with the Solitude. They can gain life if they want. That's fine. But I gain 3 life, and then I get to move Shadow Spear over here. And I'll play it out. Yeah, I wouldn't hate drawing a we can draw a Maria's Call here, a Caldra. I'll take oh, that's on. So they could drown in the dismember the Solitude. Okay. You got it. Basically tapping out for it. That's fine. So those kind of things they should just be doing on their turn. And here I was like, I'm just gonna get Caldra there because we can just cast it the next turn. But yeah, anyway, so Solitude's obviously very good. Solitude's Sanctifiers, I don't know about Sanctifier against blue-black Shadow. They probably have Shredders, and they have Murktides. I'm not in a Sanctifier in this matchup. They probably shouldn't be an EE deck, but I don't know, that deck's weird, so but we definitely want the skills because it does fight against Dress Down a little bit better. The 4th Surge is a consideration because they are a deck that plays like discard spells, things like that. I do want the Caldra. Well, Archmage Charm makes me question it. Core Outfitter is definitely coming out. I think the Ornithopters are pretty poor. Springleaf Drum. So in that case, we probably can bring in a Sanctifier or 2. I guess holding off Shadow is enough by itself to make the cut. We could cut 1 Surge because they are a Dress Down deck. Yeah, I also don't hate cutting a Drum, to be completely honest. Yeah, honestly, let's just do that. It increases our white count slightly for Solitude. It makes sure more of our spells are just spells. Yeah, so we have 5 tricks. I'll see y'all in the next game. All right, here we are for game 2 of the we got to get that 1 chest. Got to grind that value on Moto. So one thing about this deck is they do, however, have discard spells. I'm gonna keep it. If they Thoughtseize and take the Amaria's Call, so be it. Whew, okay. Bless. And I think I will just bolt myself to play Sigarda's Aid here. Yeah. Let's okay. And now if they don't Thoughtseize us this turn either, we just get to hold up Surge, which is pretty nice. And probably one of these Surges will get pitched to a Solitude. Would not be surprised. Okay, so they're not going on a terribly aggressive because they did, fetch pass. Okay. Saga it is. And it's one thing I want to call out. It's really nice that we have this hammer in hand. So that way if they are just going to get a big Dress Down, then we can flash in the hammer and thought scour me. Oh, I was probably supposed to Surge that because now they can, well, no. The consideration is now they can counterspell with Dress Down or with Drown in the Lock, but okay. You got it. Oh, all right. Deck's really trying to pull it together for me. This one. So if they just kill the first construct and then pass, I make a construct on their end step, and then if they kill it, that's fine. Then we can hold up mana. Oh, just draw 2. Sure. Then it is reasonable for us to just Cookie Monster them out. As tradition demands. But with any luck, they will just be, all right, yeah, whatever. Yep, make a construct. If they Dress Down now, that's honestly, oh, Archmage Charm. Okay. So are they just dead here? I think they are. If we... Yeah, because we can Solitude pitch aid. We can Solitude pitch aid. Okay, so what is happening? Solitude pitch aid, and then go get a cookie monster. So yeah, we're just going to float mana. If they have force negation, then the fearsome cookie has appeared. Yeah, I think we just Solitude now, pitching second aid. That's what I'm talking about, man. Solitude's just such a flexible card. Even in the matchups where you usually don't allow removal, it just ends the game because it lets you just continue to progress your board while at the same time just like chipping in there. And I'm gonna hammer first because it forces the cookie monster. Absolutely not. Surge. Okay, this game's over. They have 6. And all right, solid way to finish the league. Glad we were able to kill two Solitude or two shadows with a hard cast Solitude. So let's take a look at the list. Okay, so I was hoping to play against creativity so we could kind of test out that plan. So against creativity with this current build, I would probably go... I don't even know if we want the extra Solitudes, but I like having some number. But the idea is you want to just be a lot more aggressive against them. So obviously, if we have the Orvar, we're bringing it in. Surge, I think, is very good. And the skills are very good. So we're bringing these 4 for sure. Historically, I've cut the Givers, but one of my friends pointed out that they do let you just chip in at a Teferi, which is super, super important. So in the future, I might keep them. I think you can trim a couple Ornithopters. And honestly, you could, since I do like going fast still, I think we cut the Mantle because it is, and this is something I need to test, right? So the Mantle, usually against creativity, I don't think we're going to long game. And if we are, we're losing, especially if they have a Tef build. But yeah, I would probably, and then we could just like cut the Solitudes, honestly. And then like 1 Ornithopter. I think that's fine. Just cut those 4 for those 4. But anyway, this list feels super sick. I will say, if you are playing Hammer, you should absolutely try Solitude build, see what you think. I think there were a couple spots there where it showcased. Obviously against Murktide, it was a little rough because like it did tag the monkey and then they just had another monkey buried us, but you know, that's gonna happen. And then so yeah, I think Solitude helps a lot of our matchups. And I don't think it changes the way you have to play the game much. Sometimes you do figure out it, like, so once I get to like 3 or 4 mana and I have Amaria's Call still in my hand, I do consider if it's worth playing that 5th or 6th land, or if I just want to hold it. And so it's fine, especially if you just like have Amaria's Call and another spell in your hand. You just play the spell and then kind of go from there. But I think Surge of Salvation, really, really good. Obviously just absurd. And I like the 2 skills on the board quite a lot because they do cover different things. Typically, you won't be bringing in all... You know, you won't have 4 Surge, 2 skill post board, but you will have you will have like a mix, like 4 to 5, and sometimes it's like 2 skill, 2 Surge, 4 Surge, 0 skill, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the list. This is kind of just about, you could play a 3rd Sanctifier if you want, but as you saw, we have plenty to bring in against Scam, so I don't know if you want the 3rd, but list feels real clean. I like it a lot. I played against creativity 5 times at the event with the SCG Richmond list here. And that was kind of the spot where Hollowed Moonlight was never the reason I was winning matches. It was because I was killing them quite quickly. And if I wasn't killing them quickly, then I probably wasn't winning. Yeah, I played against that. I played against Scam 3 times. And then a mix of just a lot of played against like a Jund deck with a creative, or with a package for reanimating Archon and things like that. Props to all my opponents. They were super sweet. Everyone was really friendly, nice, really enjoyed the event. But, you know, top 8ing also doesn't hurt. I lost round 2, and then I lost round 13 after I was already locked as the 2nd seed to Daryl Ayers, who is an excellent player. And so, yeah, happy with the list. This is what I would play going forward. Orvar, you know, do whatever you want. I don't think you need the blue right now. I don't think blue does a whole lot, and it makes you a lot softer to Blood Moon, which we saw. I don't remember. I don't think we got Blood Moon. If we did get we got Blood Moon once, but it churned off the sagas. But we could still function as a deck mostly because we had just lanes in our deck. So anyway, this is the build I like right now. I know 4 Drannith is kind of a pain. EDH players play Drannith Magistrate, so it's a little pricier than I would like. I think it's really clean. Deck feels really good. Sideboard mapping is updated to the Richmond list. Really nothing changed except for Living End. You're gonna just board in the Draneth instead of the Hollowed Moonlight. Kind of call it a day. And then yeah, so $4 gets you the updated sideboard guide and my updated deck list every month. $5 goes a little bit further to support, and I really appreciate the support everyone's given me. I love the community, and I'm happy that we can all continue to get better together. Cheers, and I'll see y'all around next time. Bye.